If your Pokémon starter is Bulbasaur, you actually have a 6,000 IQ. You don't care about what other people think, and likely have a creative hobby like drawing or baking. If your Pokémon starter is Charmander, you will never stop being a child at heart, though this choice does make you kind of basic. That's me, by the way. Hello! If your Pokémon starter is Squirtle, you are an honest person, but that is likely your only virtuous quality. You otherwise complain a lot and are low-key rude to others. If your Pokémon starter is Pikachu, you are likely over 40 and you have been playing since Pokémon first came out, and there's not a goddamn thing wrong with that. If your Pokémon starter is Eevee, then you are most likely a girl, and your all-time favorite Pokémon is definitely one of the Eeveelutions, most likely Umbreon. If your Pokémon starter is Chikorita, your favorite Pokémon game is likely one of the spin-offs, specifically Pokémon Mystery Dungeon. Comment and let me know if I'm right. If your Pokémon starter is Cyndaquil, you unabashedly love cute Pokémon and likely don't follow the meta too closely, if at all. You hope he never evolves and stays cute forever. If your Pokémon starter is Totodile, I'm just gonna say you have excellent taste and a great sense of humor that isn't predicated on any ironic appreciation of your choice. I like you! If your Pokémon starter is Trico, you are a competitive player at heart. You spend a lot of time worrying about things like the specific natures of the Pokémon you catch, even when just playing through the main game, when factors like that don't really matter. If your Pokémon starter is Torchic, you are actually the person who picks the fire starter every time. This doesn't mean that the other options are bad, it just means you don't consider them for a second because your favorite type is fire, and that's all you care about. If your Pokémon starter is Mudkip, then you are the exact opposite of anyone who chose Totodile, in that your selection is founded exclusively on a sense of irony. Just be honest, you don't actually love this Pokémon as much as you say you do. Low-key, you've always wanted to use Torchic or Trico instead, but you're in too deep now, and you'd rather die than admit you used a Pokémon you never really liked that much for years because a bunch of memes told you to like it. If your Pokémon starter is Turtwig, it is strictly because you want Torterra. If you had to play through the whole game without evolution, you wouldn't consider him for a second. If your Pokémon starter is Chimchar, it's because you wanted a fire type on your team, but you didn't want to get stuck using Rapidash, like literally everyone else did. If you know, you know. If your Pokémon starter is Piplup, then I assume you have at least one Pokémon plushie doll sitting in your house somewhere. Not necessarily Piplup, it could be Dunsparce, it could be anyone, but I know you have one somewhere. If your Pokémon starter is Snivy, you have a massive superiority complex, and an ill-deserved one at that. Is this correlation or causation? No idea, but you do need to get over yourself. If your Pokémon starter is Tepig, you probably don't think about things long term. You're very much in the now. Who cares what happens tomorrow, right? Not you. If your Pokémon starter is Oshawott, you are the most likely to teach all of your Pokémon nothing but damaging moves, and likely all of the same type as well. If your Pokémon starter is Chespin, you are the friendliest person we talk about today. You could play casually or competitively and you still manage to pick up friends along the way. If your Pokémon starter is Fennekin, you probably breed Pokémon a lot, but have no idea how breeding Pokémon actually works, and none of that matters because you're not a competitive player, you just think it's neat. If your Pokémon starter is Froakie, you are easily the most likely to restart the game thousands of times so you can get a shiny Pokémon at the beginning of the game. You are actually what's wrong with this community. If your Pokémon starter is Rowlet, then you're actually kind of a meme lord, and there's actually nothing wrong with that. At least you didn't pick Mudkip, right? If your Pokémon starter is Litten, then you have some serious impulse control problems. This, however, never causes you any strife, so it's like, whatever. If your Pokémon starter is Poplio, then regardless of your gender, you obviously are very secure in yourself and your sense of identity. Good on ya! If your Pokémon starter is Grookey, then you typically have your dessert before dinner, and not sometimes. I mean like, most of the time. If not all the time. If your Pokémon starter is Scorbunny, then you are obnoxious, and that's okay. We like obnoxious people over here. Honestly, you make a good example for how obnoxious other people should strive to be. If your Pokémon starter is Sobble, then you're a very sentimental person with a tender heart. I mean, who else chooses the Pokémon whose gimmick is to cry and hide? If your Pokémon starter is Sprigatito, you are a more calculated player. You take your time making decisions, but it clearly works out for the best, since you also seem to stay ahead of the crowd in most situations. If your Pokémon starter is Fuecoco, then your actual starter is Charmander. You only chose this Pokémon because it's a fire type. Ergo, you think about Charmander every time you choose a starter. Charmander is your actual starter. If your Pokemon starter is Quaxly, you are willing to overlook the fact that your choice is actually just Ducklet with a Donald Duck color scheme. All because he's cute. This has been my assumptions about you, based on what starter you would choose in Pokemon. Leave comments to tell me who your starter of choice is, and whether or not I got it right, along with suggestions for other subjects you'd like to see covered on this channel. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to give the video a like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell icon as well so you can get instant updates anytime there's a new upload and never miss out again. As always, thank you so much for watching the video today and supporting my channel. It really means a lot to me. In any case, my name is Raggyrog, and I will see you in the next video, Ragamuffins. Have a good one!